And we are live. Let me just do a couple things real quick. Questions here. All right, just wanted to put a message in the chat, and then I'm going to share this on my page, and then we can get started.
I'm going to shut my ringer on my phone off.
I will pull up. Thank you for joining us. We are just about to get started here. If you don't mind just sharing this or starting a watch party for us, that would be awesome. No, I'm not seeing this post. And 2 seconds. I'm sorry. Here we go. All right, I'm ready. All right, so thank you for joining us, everyone. We are just getting started. Today, I am talking to Sal, my favorite title rep and title company. We've been working together for some time. And so I just want to give Sal an opportunity to introduce himself to you all in case you don't know Sal.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sal, Fast Track Title. If you follow on social media, better known as the CLE title guy. How's everyone doing today?
Good. So one of the things that I will say is that the reason why I like working with Sal and Fast Track Title is the fact that Sal is always there. We communicate, we text, it's weekend, evenings. I'm like, sorry, Sal. And he always responds and he's always there for my clients. So, you know, I build off of energy that the person gives. And I feel that he always operates in such a pure heart and willing to help at all times. So I wanted him to introduce himself today. So Sal, can you first just talk about what you're seeing in the market in terms of deals closing? A lot of people think because of COVID-19 that real estate transactions are not happening, sales are not happening. Have you been slow? Have things slowed down for you?
Actually, you know, if anything, I think we've been a little bit busier. Not only has the purchase market been busy, but the refinance market's been busy. The way the market's been and the way the rates have been. So actually, I believe we've seen an increase of business more than anything. And when it comes to purchases, I'm watching the market myself. You know, you can see it driving up and down your street going home. We had a house on my street the other day. I saw the for sale sign go up last Thursday, and there was a sold sign on it Friday morning. And it was Thursday on my way home, they were putting the sign up. And Friday morning, when I was leaving to go to the office, there was already a sold sign on top of it. So I would believe that the market's moving at a fast pace right now. The biggest thing right now is the change that we're all doing. It's how we're showing the houses. It's how we're closing on the properties. And it's how we're handling with the counties to get these filed and transferred in a timely fashion for you guys. And it seems like we found the niche and are able to do that right now.
Okay. So so if anyone is scared, like I don't want, because I have heard situations where the appraiser is having a hard time coming into the house. Are you still meeting face to face with people, or are you doing like electronic?
I joke with people as I'm walking in, as I'm going to the houses. I'm doing a lot of closings in garages where there's open air, where they're setting up a table out there. I'm doing closings if I am going in the house, or regardless, I have a face mask on. I have surgical gloves on, the gloves. And I joke when I'm walking in, I'm like, where's the operating table at? You know, because I look like a doctor ready to do an operation as we're walking in. You know, in my car, I have Lysol wipes, disinfectant, you know, the whole 9 yards to be able to hand the people the papers, to wipe stuff off. You know, where I used to give pens out at closing, I'm calling before and saying, hey, do you guys have blue pens? I can bring some brand new ones, but if you have them, that'd be great because I know you're not going to want mine.
Right.
So we're doing them, like I said, outside if it's nice, on back porches, in garages. I've done them through the glass screen door of the front doors. The people come up to the door, they show me their driver's license, so I make sure I know who I'm notarizing, that the wife didn't bring in a substitute husband that morning to do the closing. And we'll do them right through the glass door. I've done them from car to car. I'm sitting in my car, they're sitting in their car. It's a little tight to do it that way, but we get them done. I always carry a copy package with me, so I'm able to look at the sheets as they're looking at them and have them make sure they sign properly on that stuff. So we're figuring it out little by little, and we're getting them done.
Yeah. So that's like the biggest thing people, because some people think like, no, transactions are not happening. And I always just really stress that it's definitely not business as usual, but we are making do and just getting it done the best way that we can. We're seeing some delays in certain aspects of it, but it's still pushing through and getting done.
The difference for us is, the biggest one is with the counties. Before, as you know, I'm hands-on. Yes, I have couriers. Yes, I have examiners file as well. But I've gone to the county myself and walked it through. If it's tight, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, we got to get this done. I'll walk it through the county. Now all the counties have drop boxes. So we're having to drop them in a drop box downstairs. They're having to come down, pick up the mortgages and the deeds, bring them upstairs, get it done, and then send us a message to let us know that it's, that it's all transferred and filed. And as well as most of all your agents, I'm real particular about that. I send out that email at the end of the day once it's done and filed to complete, so everyone knows to swap keys, get your sold signs out, take your Facebook pictures, and send out the congratulations to everybody. So we haven't run into too many issues with the counties. I think maybe once or twice we've gotten it down there late in the day with a late closing, and didn't get to it till the following morning. But that's very, very slim that's happening.
Okay. So some of my followers, they don't necessarily live here in Ohio. Like in California, they use attorneys for their transactions and maybe a little less familiar with the title company. Can you explain what a title company is?
Well, a title company by any means is we're insuring the title of the property. So when a purchase happens between two real estate agents and a buyer and a seller, or a for sale by owner, whatever it may be, they fill out the contract, they send it over to us. Once we get that contract, if there is a lender involved, before we start anything, we do wait for the lender to make sure it's a good deal. And we wait for the lender to get that order, which it normally comes from the lender as well. And they're going to say, we need a few things as well with that. So that comes within 1 to 2 days, if not the same day. Once we do that, we do send it off to a third-party examiner. The third-party examiner does what they call, on a purchase, a 42-year search backwards for two owners. So what that means is they're searching all the way backwards for any type of tax liens. It could be somebody could have bought a patio enclosure from Sears 20 years ago and never paid on it, and Sears put a lien on their property. It could be anything. It could be a mechanic's lien, and our job is to clear those. We're to double check, to call these people and say, hey, is so-and-so Joe Smith really the person with this social that matches for this lien? And 90% of the time, it's clean. We're able to clean these up. We're able to get rid of these liens, which going forward is better for the seller because it clears off their name and credit bureaus of anything that may have been mistakenly put on there, or anything that needs to be paid at closing. And the title insurance covers in case we miss something. It's very rare that ever happens, but that's what title insurance is for. If we do miss something, that's why you pay a title insurance premium. And on most sales contracts, that's split between the buyer and the seller. And that's $5.75 per $1,000 of the sale price.
Okay. Yeah, people always ask about that title insurance and if they should pay for that. And I always say it's such a small amount that you.
Well, when you're dealing with the lender, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
The lender will not close a deal unless it's insured.
Okay.
They want to make sure, in case a lien pops up, that they're first lien holder. The lender is the most important in the game. They want to make sure they're at the top of the food chain in case something happens, that they have first rights to get their money back.
Right.
That's what it's all about. So if a lender's involved, title insurance has to be done on that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So in the movies, when there's a real estate transaction, all the parties are all in one room on a big table and they're all signing together, buyer, seller. Is that what happens here in Ohio?
Yes and no. Good question. Ohio is a very diverse and different state. If you are in Cleveland, I could see the buyer at Panera Bread and the seller at McDonald's down the street or at their house. They do not have to be together. In Southern Ohio, a lot of title companies down there do that. Hold on a second. I just got clicked off of this. There you go. Did that click off for a second?
Mm-mm.
In Southern Ohio, what happens is it's called round table closing.
Mm-hmm.
Where the buyer, the seller, the title agent, the real estate agents may be there, and it's all done in a round robin right there.
Okay.
And we're used to that. I'd have to say mainly more towards Cincinnati, Athens area.
Okay.
When you start getting up towards Columbus, they still do it a little bit, but
Okay.
they do it the way Cleveland does it as well.
Okay.
Good question.
So on the buyer or seller side of it, oftentimes the seller may have to bring money to the closing table because maybe the purchase price does not cover their mortgage. Or then on the buyer side, maybe they're putting down a little bit more money. So I guess my first question is, when money is being wired in, I'm just curious, how much money or what's the largest transaction you've seen someone have to bring to the closing table in terms of dollar amount?
I've seen some pretty large ones between residential and commercial, but to go backwards a little bit, just a little background on that. If anyone is bringing money into closing, up to $1,000, we can accept a personal check.
Okay.
From $1,000 to $10,000, they can either do a wire transfer or a certified bank check.
Okay.
Anything over $1,000 and definitely over $10,000 has to be a bank wire.
Okay.
And the largest I've ever seen, I think on a commercial property, I think I've seen $300,000-$400,000 being wired.
Oh my
Or
God.
even on a cash deal. I've seen a cash deal, where people have bought houses for cash for $4,000 or $5,000.
Oh
So
my
it happens. I'm not that blessed, but it happens.
So how do they know that? So there's have been some situations where that it's gotten intercepted, meaning the wire instructions or bank account somehow got intercepted through the email. So how does the person know how to?
Stuff does get red flagged depending on banks. Like when if I'm sending seller monies out, I have in the past. I'm not going to mention any bank names on here, but we're talking brick and mortar banks where they red flag it. They put a hold on it, wondering why so-and-so is getting $147,000 wired into their account. We use a company called Safe Escrow.
Okay.
They do our funding. We started doing that years ago. I don't want to say it's new in the industry, but not a lot of people use it.
Okay.
We use it for a couple of reasons. One, it's in the name of the company, Safe Escrow.
Okay.
We're responsible for everything. We punch in all the numbers so they know who to cut. We cut my checks at the office, but all the wires are done through Safe Escrow, who's located out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And with that, at our closing, we get the information, the ABAs, the routing numbers, the bank numbers, and all that. We get contact numbers that are good for the sellers if they're wiring money in. Safe Escrow, in turn, checks that. They make sure Joe Smith is Joe Smith. Joe Smith's account does match this, and they actually do call to verify it. The neat thing with Safe Escrow is pretty much every title company out there uses software to do their deals. we use SoftPro, which a lot of people have been using for many, many years in this industry. You know, I've been doing this 23 years. We were using SoftPro back then. You know, they've been around a long time. We were picked. There was 2 title companies picked in the United States to do a pilot program with Safe Escrow. And what that means is they're integrating the 2 softwares.
Okay.
Because right now we're having to take the information from Safe Escrow, from SoftPro, and put it into Safe Escrow.
Okay.
They have to do that soon. It'll be integrated, so much smoother, much faster, much easier transactions, and the fundings will go a lot faster as well.
Okay.
And like I said, there's 2 companies that were picked, one out of California and our company in Cleveland, Ohio, that was picked to do this pilot program to test this software to make sure it's working. And it's been going pretty good so far. We've been doing it for a while with them.
Okay. So this may be a biased question, but so obviously you recommend people using some sort of title company versus trying to do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And on my end, I typically see more so real estate investors wanting to shave some costs off and kind of go the route of doing some filings on their own.
You want my answer to that one? Listen, you know, everybody wants to invest. You know, I've been to your seminars where, you know, that's what we do. We want to invest. Real estate is our future. If you want to make money, invest in real estate. I learned that from you over the years, listening to your seminars. And you're not wrong. But the problem is there's risks to everything. Why start off that transaction at an immediate risk of $500? Have full title done. That's why we offer the title insurance. A lot of people say, oh, it's a $5,000 or $10,000 property. It might not be worth it. Well, guess what? That $5,000 or $10,000 property might have a $55,000 lien. And all of a sudden, you do a quick claim deed. You have the cash. You think you got a house. You start rehabbing it and start renting it for $600 a month, thinking you got a cash cow coming in. And all of a sudden, now you're stuck with a lien for $55,000 that we would have caught and got rid of if you went through the total title insurance, the process, the proper way with it. I'm not a big fan of doing quick claim deeds only for that reason. You never know what's hiding back on that property.
Right.
Some stuff is hidden. You have to dig for it. So it's always best to spend a couple bucks to have the security to know you own that property free and clear.
So I think part of it, people may not realize there are a couple different types of deeds. So they may not realize when they see a quitclaim deed that, okay, this is the bottom of the totem pole here. What type of deed should someone be looking for in a real estate transaction?
I don't think the difference in deeds really matter, because there could be survivorship deeds, which just means like if it was you and your husband, God forbid something happened to one of you, it automatically goes to the living spouse. You know, there's quick claim deeds, there's just regular deeds. Those are just verbiages, and it's mainly for probate courts and stuff like that more than anything. It has nothing to do with the cleanliness of the property.
Right.
When it comes to that.
Okay. So, so as far as, so we talked about the title insurance. I did want to ask, is your Fast Track a locally owned business? Are you here in Cleveland? Okay.
We are in, on the corner of Brainerd and Wilson Mills, right in Highland Heights next to Mayfield Village. So down the street from the Home Depot, and some of us older people will remember Front Row Theater used to be right down the street. We spent a lot of time at concerts there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We are right there, right up close to freeway access to get to anywhere in the Cleveland area.
Okay. And then as far as title searches that you do, sometimes there's some exceptions on there. Do you make the buyer aware or seller aware of some?
When there's an exception made, one, we have to get permission from the underwriter. We
Okay.
need permission from the lender, depending on what the exceptions are. If there is a shed in the back of the yard that may cross over the property by 3 inches,
Okay.
or, you know, I got stuck with one on the west side where they actually moved the frontage of the house, and the city law said you have to be 55 feet from the curb to the house, but the city actually widened the streets, and it was now 48 feet at that point, and you have to get exceptions made for that kind of stuff. And the exception just means everybody's aware of it, and then the titling company, as long as the lender's okay with it, we do what we insure around it.
Okay.
We do.
Okay. And then, so when people hear the word closing costs, they automatically assume that those closing costs, those fees are 100% like the title company fees.
I wish that they all were. There's a lot, especially on the title end. You have your mortgage fees to the underwriter, and they break that all down on the closing disclosures or the HUDs that you get. You have your lender fees, which goes over the appraisal, stuff like that. When it comes to title, you have your title insurance, your policies. If you have any endorsements that the lenders are asking for, there is a few endorsements that all lenders ask for on those, which are extra, but they're on 90% of all purchases, 95%. There's survey affidavits and stuff like that. So a lot of when you're looking at the title stuff is third party. Endorsements are requested by the lender, so they're really not a fee for us. The lender is requiring them. You have surveys for a survey for the property. Once again, the lender requests a survey, and it gives you a map of your property to let you know your boundaries. You have your title insurance, which we went over earlier, which is $5.75 per thousand of the sale price. That is standard across the board on that. Everybody pays that. When I bought a house myself, I can't even discount that one. That's the title insurance through our underwriter. We are an insurance company. We're insuring that everything is clean and good, and if something does come up, it's taken care of at that point. Then you have a closing fee, a notary fee if they're traveling a distance to go meet the people. And then you have an escrow closing fee, that's really a profit for a title company. That's us working on the deal. And as you know, in our office, we have 4 of the greatest escrow officers working nonstop on these deals. So there's hours involved on that. On each deal, I would have to say there's a good 10 to 15 hours of work on each deal, if not more. Than that.
So a lot of times people may not realize this too. I don't know if your office has one, but a lot of times if you don't have an in-house attorney, then you have an attorney on retainer for title companies. So from the legal standpoint, a lot of times the title companies that do have that legal support that's going on. So it's just not you guys just saying, make it.
We have a local attorney, and it's actually one of the owner's partners' son-in-laws that does it. And fantastic. He's the one that prepares the deeds, does all that stuff, because that's all stuff attorneys have to do. A lot of people don't realize that the attorneys have to prepare the deeds. That's a legal document on those. So those do all have to be approved. And the big thing is too, if you ever do have a legal question and you want an answer, call me. I'll reach out to him. I'll ask him. I get the free legal advice. So, he's up to a point where, he'll say, they might want to check with somebody on that. It doesn't sound great, or no, it's perfectly fine. Keep moving forward.
Okay. Is there anything that people can do to make on their end in terms of the title portion of it to make things go smoothly for them?
The only thing is really, I don't really even need to speak to the buyers until close to the end. A lot of people are like, we reach out, we'll send a message or call and leave a voicemail. But with buyers, other than there's really not much, because the lender lets us know if they're married, how it's vested, meaning, is it husband and wife? Is it mother and daughter that's co-signing for it? The lenders let us know that. So when it comes to the buyer, there's not a lot of communication that needs to be done, but I still like at least some little bit of communication so everyone's on the same page. But when it comes to the sellers, that's where we need some help at. When we get an order over, and a lot of times some agents forget to put a contact number or an email for the seller, which it's important because we want to contact that seller within a matter of days for a couple of reasons. We need to have them sign what we call seller documents, which are authorizations, which lets us know, it gives us permission to get the payoffs on the properties. If there's a lien on the property, we have their last four of their social or their whole social if we need it to clear up those liens, because like I said, 90% of the time they're not theirs.
Yeah.
Somebody else with a similar name, or there was a mistake made, but the ones that are theirs, we're able to get it and get it taken care of. But we need the proper information from the sellers to do that.
Right.
It's all clean.
What about if it's a seller that lives out of the country?
Oh, I have those all the time. I think I could tell you every different country. I've gotten deeds and mortgages back, and I've learned my lesson over the years. Saudi Arabia, they put red ribbons. They put a hole puncher, and it's a red ribbon. So you know how we use a notary stamp?
Yeah.
They use a stamp, but that ribbon means something.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I got one back, I cut it off to scan the papers, and I got down to the county, and the county knows when they see it. They're like, "Where's the red ribbon at?" And I'm like, "I thought it was a decoration." It's not. That's part of their seals. So a lot of times, if there's an American embassy, the easiest way, I have them go to an American embassy to have it notarized. But if there's not an American embassy, we do have to go through whatever the notary is in that country at that time.
Okay.
And like I said, that's where we end up with red ribbons and all kinds of crazy stuff that you've never seen. But now I've pretty much seen them all. And that's the biggest thing. So if there is an out of the country buyer or seller, let us know. Don't hold that back from us until a week before closing. Because it does take time. We have to email them over there. They have to go see a notary. And if they're going to a consulate or to a embassy, they have to make appointments. It could take weeks. So, and then we have to get it FedEx back, which it's not overnight. An overnight package means 3 or 4 nights when you're doing across the ocean like that.
Yeah, my biggest thing is needing to make the appointment, and a lot of times, depending where you're at in the country, the U.S. embassy might be far, like a couple hours.
Right.
So making those arrangements ahead of time is definitely helpful. Getting your appointment in. So, is there anything that you want to share with the audience that maybe I didn't ask you about? And
the biggest thing, you kind of said it at the beginning. You were patting me on the back a little bit when you were introducing me. I'm there for people. I've been doing this for 23 long years now. I've been on the mortgage side of the spectrum. I've been on the title side of it. The biggest thing that I've learned over the years is communication. If you have communication, a deal will go smoothly. 90% of the stuff we just talked about today, that's all communication.
Right.
Stuff's all done, and the deal goes a lot smoother. I'm not a huge title company. I pride myself on that. We are a smaller family-owned and operated title company that you're not just another file. And you know that better than anyone. So I tell you guys all the time, I love you and your husband, the way you guys live your personal life. After a while, my clients aren't clients. It's just not Betty, the real estate agent. It's Andrea. That's my friend. That's my sister. I want to do what I can for her because it puts money in both of our pockets. But at the end of the day, that's what friends do for each other.
Right.
And we are here. Yes, we're here to make money, but I have a heart too, and I want to sleep well at night. So I want to make sure everyone's taken care of from top to bottom. That's why where most people don't, I pick up my phone at 11 o'clock. I used to joke and say I didn't have a social life. I answer on the weekends. Well, now none of us have a social life, but I still answer on the weekends. If you call me on Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, I pick up the phone. Call me on Friday at midnight, I pick up the phone. And I want to be there for you, and I want to get the stuff done in the timely fashion for you. It's just not another file on a stack of files. Every file matters to me. Every file means something.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we are going to wrap it up here today. Thank you all for joining me. People call and ask all the time about title questions, mortgage questions. So I hope that you found this information to be very useful. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any additional questions or put you in contact with the right people. Sal, how can they find you? How can they find you?
Fast Track Title. We are located at 5555 Wilson Mills Road, Highland Heights, Ohio. You can find me on all social media, Salvatore Belanti. The office number is 440-460-1092. My cell phone, which is everywhere, is 440-897-0027. Or send the orders to orderscle@fttitle.com, and we'll be there for you.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us, and I will be back with another interview soon, so keep an eye out. Please like the page if you have not already done so, and thank you, Sal.
Please like and share. Let's make this one go viral.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, Andrea.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye.